welcome to the Talk of the Town, proudly brought to you by Uniquely Nelson. I'm your host, Chris Butler. With me, once again, Simon Duffy, General Manager of Uniquely Nelson. Nice to see you, mate.
Morning, Jeff. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, and we must mention that we're coming to you from Two Thumbs on New Street. And joining us today is Jeff from Two Thumbs. Great to have you here, mate, with us.
Yeah, lovely to be here. Welcome to Two Thumbs. Vibey atmosphere, great venue place. Enjoy it and enjoy this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't give credit to Simon because he'll say that he stayed up all night painting this mural. Where did the mural come from behind it?
It's a local Banksy, so we don't give his name out too much. It's a local Banksy. People, if I told too many people, they'll be coming in taking bits of it home with them. It's a great local artist. We set it up. It was a white wall when we walked in, and this guy came in and put up such a vibey piece. So much fits this place and what we're all about, and what we do.
That's a great place. I was in here a couple of weeks ago where there's a fundraiser for a soccer team going down to Christchurch, and we did a bingo night.
Yeah,
which is very funny. Considering out of the, I think, 5 prizes, our table won about 3 of them.
Oh, you were lucky.
One after the other. And I felt guilty. I thought I should start handing them back, the hampers. Anyway, that didn't happen. But Jeff, tell us about your background and where did you come from to end up in Nelson? Are you from Nelson, or are you?
No, I'm originally from Torquay in England. So that's the place where Fawlty Towers comes from. John Cleese beating minis and stuff like that. Now you can see what kind of vibe I'm trying to put into this place. Yeah. Where's my inspiration come from?
With Manuel.
I've got a few Manuels in here, don't you worry.
And do you get pretty much when you come here bad service and verbal abuse? Or
we try to avoid that bit, but you'll definitely get some abuse. Of some kind if you're up for it.
Oh, look,
and we're up for it as well.
The place will be packed overnight.
So people, I mean, it's definitely not bad service, but abuse if you're up for it and you're ready to give it back. I don't want to just play on my own. I want some comeback on it.
You need to. So your background always been hospitality?
Yes, basically I started in the business in Torquay as a dishwasher when I was 15, 14, when my dad sent me out, said, now you got to get a job. If you want those trainers, if you want those things, you got to get it yourself. And I went out crying down the road. I remember crying down the road and walked into this hotel, and they wanted me in there. They wanted me working. Yeah, because
you're only 3 years old at the time, I believe.
I know. Sent down the bloody mines. No, but he sent me out, and I got myself a job at the age of 15. Started earning my own money in the hospitality industry, and it was pretty weird because it didn't really grab me in the beginning, just washing up and get it. But the camaraderie in the kitchen was amazing at that age. Yeah. I mean, they took the mickey out of me constantly. I was the youngest one in there. And then I saw this chef. He was doing this big salmon. He poached this big salmon. It was like in an S form. He peeled the skin off. He put cucumbers all over it, and he put it on some blue aspic jelly. It looked like the fish was still swimming. That caught me. For some reason, that caught me. And I thought, what can I do with this? The creativity part of my brain just opened up and thought, what can I do with this? And that, from that moment on, even though I look back on it now, I think, really? Blue jelly? Really?
That's right.
That's the most worst thing you could eat in the world. That caught me at that time and said, I have to carry on doing this business. I have to be very creative. I can use my creative gene in doing this. And then I moved to London, worked with some Michelin star restaurants, the Roux Brothers, Marco Pierre White. Gordon Ramsay was at the Gavroche when I was there. There's a lot of big chefs, Anthony Warren Thompson. Enjoyed myself in London, but run myself down. Moved to Denmark. Ended up working with some of the best chefs in the world over there. Part of a revolution called the Nordic food revolution. Got my own restaurant, top class restaurant. It was so good, but you don't earn any money in that. And years and years and years upon that, I grew up in the military kitchens, and they were called military for a reason. And it wasn't me. It wasn't me
restrictive?
shouting at my chefs.
Yeah.
It wasn't me being that evil person on the top trying to get the best out of people. It didn't work for me.
Mm.
What worked for me was teaching people to be as good, if not better than me.
Yeah.
And then they get to work for you, with you, and they come with ideas with you, and then you can ping pong these. And so over years and years and years, this was my way of running a kitchen. Very socialist in a way. Still in control. They think they've, still on top, still in control, but very socialist in a way that everybody can be involved. Everybody's got a piece of it.
It's a brilliant way of doing it.
Yeah, and and I've always done that.
Yeah.
And that changed, and that was a very Danish thing as well when I got over there. Is the way they did it over there. They got some great chefs over there. They got some amazing restaurants. Some of the top restaurants in the world are in Denmark. And Bocuse d'Or winners, the chefs who go to these big competitions, I think 4 out of the last 8 have been Danish. It's an amazing place, and I had a restaurant that was voted in the top 5 over in Denmark at one point. And then I thought, why am I doing this? White tablecloths, all this, it's not me. It's definitely not me. So I ripped off the tablecloths, set up a new business, had a different kind of, but same food, same quality,
Different approach.
different approach, different atmosphere. And it was a great success. And then I moved down here, headhunted down here for a job in Auckland. It went all right.
Who was that
good.
with?
That was with Mekong Baby to start with, and then I moved on to sales as executive chef there. Sales was brilliant. I love Bart, the guy who used to own it. He was a brilliant guy, lovely hospitality person. And then I moved down here. So they say life is fun and games until you get twins. And we had twins.
Right.
We had twins, and we thought, nah, this is not going to work in Auckland. Definitely not going to work in Auckland with 1.5 hours to work and 10 minutes to get back home. It's definitely not going to go there. So we moved down here and started up in the Rutherford, had a great time there. And then moved on to this, which is kind of my baby. I don't own it. I've got a vested interest. But for me, it's my personality and the staff around me. It's our personality that jumps out through this place.
So tell us about that connection you made with Two Thumbs. Tell us a little bit about the background of Two Thumbs, and then how you made that connection with the guys.
Well, Two Thumbs originally was a garage. One guy brewing could open up his garage and look out onto the Two Thumb range. Then he moved into Manchester Street and carried on brewing there and selling just riggers out of the house. And then the two guys, 2 of the 3 directors I know, they walked in, they loved the place, and they said, well, if this place ever comes up for sale, they'll buy it. And a week later it did, and they bought it.
Wow, how's that?
And it's just this destiny of life sometimes happens like this. So those 2 guys, one of them's a finance wizard, and the other one is a brewer who's brewed all over the world, done brewing everywhere. He comes from Yorkshire, so of course he's got it in his veins, doesn't he? And they're so, I wouldn't say laid back, but they're so on top of what they do that they can relax with what they're doing, if you know what I mean. They got such a good vibe around them, a good energy around them. And then there's a 3rd director that's come on board later after that, called Andy, and he's the whirlwind. He makes sure stuff gets done.
Gets it sorted.
Yeah. He's the man.
Yesterday, Simon? It's got to be done yesterday.
4:30, everything done, sorted. Sorry, Chef.
And he's a whirlwind, and he makes sure all processes are followed for the whole company. And I was speaking to these guys when they decided to set up here. It was all done over the net because it was just we're up here, they're down there. And basically I liked the vibe they came out with. I liked the ideas they wanted. And I said to them in the beginning, I said, look, I'll treat this place like it's my own, like I've always done.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I'm going to get something out of it for myself, is if I can see the success or failure, of course, and can do something about it myself. Well,
So how'd you come across these guys? Where did
Just-
you actually end up meeting them?
so it's basically on the internet. Basically
Oh,
on the
right, just
internet.
looking
That
for
was
opportunity.
a
Yeah.
seek
Right.
advert.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a new challenge, a new idea, a new thing. And they were looking for somebody who's got a bit of experience in doing what I do.
Mm.
And we kind of met up that way. And I think we all gave each other a good impression over what was happening, what was going to happen. And I joined in on this 8 days before we opened.
Oh,
So 8 days before we opened, there's no beer. The place looked orange because it was still orange from the previous owners. All the beer making material was gone, so this was a skeleton of a place ready to go. So 8 days before we opened, there was no glasses, there was no till systems set up for us, and then we had opening day, which was an amazing fast day, and then since then we've just run.
yeah.
Get
I mean,
going.
one of the things, I think it was the workshop, wasn't it? When it opened up, I remember when it first opened up. Well, that's a bit unique. And when you did come in here, the previous owners did create this warm atmosphere, especially in the middle of winter. The fire there is fantastic.
Yep.
And it was somewhere a little bit different. But when you came in here, you could tell that we can relax, we can just sit around with our mates and have some food and eat. So there was kind of already a bit of a vibe here.
Absolutely.
And even though it's been rebranded and certainly redecorated, that's for sure, it's been able to retain that kind of atmosphere, hasn't it?
They built up an amazing following. That's one thing, and it was very important for us in the beginning to capture that following they already had in here, and then build upon that. Their vibe was great. We just had to do it in our way. Rather than their way.
Yeah.
And the skeleton was here. The idea of walking in and there's all these Formica tables, all different, chairs, all different. It just gives you that feeling when you walk in the door that everything is accepted. It doesn't matter what happens here, it just stays here.
Yes.
So when your customers and your locals and your regulars, what is it you really offer? What is it? What do you?
So, I mean, you could say our primary selling up thing is the beer, of course. Yeah,
Right.
we are a traditional brewery making traditional brews, who also goes out and makes craft brews when we go out to competitions, when we want to do something new, as new seasonal, something's come up on the market, or we found a great ingredient, we'll make a craft brew out of it. But we do traditional brews. It's a Yorkshireman making good brews and bitters, and then we build on from that. But when you walk in, I'm not going to be here pleading for you to buy a brew. It's not that kind of place. You're walking into an atmosphere. You're walking into a venue where what we say, anything can happen and should happen. And instead of saying why should that happen, say why not? And then we do it. And that's what we want. So it's an atmosphere, it's a place you can take your dogs, your children, husbands if they're on leashes, of course.
Yes. And your twins.
And your twins. Yeah, that's right.
Not too many twins.
Noticed also the kitchen. I think they did do food prior to that, but I came here and we'll talk about FC shortly, for the launch of the wall there and the shirts. But I was able to order some food, but I noticed that you weren't in the kitchen, it was someone else. So tell us about that dynamic. You're running the place, and now with your background, you've got someone in to do the food. So tell us about how that dynamic
So
works.
I've got two staff with me that we are free, which is the main team, and then on top of that we've got some casuals that come in and help us as well. All got the same attitude, all got the same go for it, let's get it done, and enjoy being here. That's important for me as this kind of thing. I've got a great chef, and if he needs help, I'm there for him. If he doesn't, he does it himself, and he's a chef I've known for years, and he gets it done, and he's got great sense of flavor. We do very simple kind of pub food, but it's his menu, it's his ideas that come on there. I don't need to be involved in that, because he's got to have that sense of pride and ownership himself. I'm not going to control everything. The man behind the bar, he also does all my Sir Keegan, who's with me in the bar. He does all my like graphics and designs and stuff like that because he's an old graphic designer.
Yeah, right.
And he's
Nice.
brilliant at it.
Yeah.
He's got such a talent. And also he's so laid back he could be vertical or horizontal, sorry. Horizontal. He's so laid back and he's so cool.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of place where we're three totally different types of characters, but together we're a dynamic team.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't need to go in the kitchen and cover him all the time. He doesn't need to come out in the bar and cover me, and the same with Keegan. We work well together.
Live entertainment, so nice stage area here, and that's one of the things I've noticed here is that there's a bit of a mixture of entertainment, but certainly it's available. Yeah,
absolutely. And this is the fun part of my job, is creating these things and people coming in asking me, can they use the space? So Wednesday nights, we have mostly nearly every Wednesday night, we either swing dancers or Latin dancers up here on the stage.
Yeah.
And they're going for it with their music and they're enjoying themselves and it creates a vibe. But the great thing is, you could be playing Jenga in another corner. You could be on your telephone in another corner. You could be just having drinks with friends and chatting away. You could be having a proper full-scale meeting. And nobody cares.
Yeah. It's all part of the mix.
That's the whole idea of the place is nobody cares about what the other people are doing.
Yeah.
But they're feeling the vibe and the energy is good.
So running enterprise like this, and it's funny you talk about the staff and the challenges that go running a business. And I get the vibe you have a very flat style of management, but collectively that's where strength comes from, working together.
Yeah.
Because always that thing we used to work your way up to be manager and then you could tell everybody what to do. And I love your philosophy of no, it's anything that's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
To get to where we need to be. So, but what would be one of the biggest challenges?
Well, I mean, when you say that, there's still one person that's got to make
the buck stops. Yeah.
Yeah, where the buck stops. If something's wrong, if I put too many staff on and directors are coming down and talking to me about how much stock I've got in house and stuff, that would be me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't come down to the other guys in the business. That's all me. Making sure we've got the right amount of beer all the time, and that works for me. But it's at the end of the day, it's all about that working together, and the management style gives them that ownership.
Yeah.
If they feel they own it as much as me, they will give what they need to make it. They make themselves proud of it, of course, and they do that, because they've got the right attitude. And the same with all the casuals that walk in as well. We've got some good casuals, travelers, locals that come in and help us in times of need. They've got the same attitude. And I don't normally employ people when they walk through the door on their looks or the way. For me, it's, do they have the fire in their eyes? Yeah, do they have it? I can teach them everything else, unless they're going to go in the kitchen, of course. I can teach them everything else. Do they want it? And do they have the right attitude? Quick, laid back, and personality for it.
Yeah.
I just want to talk a little bit about community, because this does tie in with, I presume, another love of yours. I've come across you with walking football, and also my involvement with FC Nelson. We came here for the memory board, and the fact that this has created a bit of a home for them while they're waiting for a club rooms, pretty much. But your association with FC Nelson and with walking football, can you tell us a bit about your football background and that connection? Yeah.
Going back to the community part.
Yes.
So we've got a director he comes from Yorkshire, and he explained this to me as we started up this place. And this is what they're trying to do with the Two Thumbs down in Christchurch as well, and actually succeeding very well with it. In the old days, back in Yorkshire, and the same here in small towns, the pub was the heart of the community. Yeah. It was the place where everybody went. They cried on each other's shoulders. They laughed. They helped each other out money-wise or food-wise. And he wants that kind of community place again, because it's kind of been lost in a lot of places where God forbid you ever put something like the machines, the pokey machines in a place like this. It sounds like community, but it's not. It's not really helping anybody because it's taking money off the people who don't have it to give it to the people who don't have it. It doesn't make sense. This place is none of that. There's no screens in here. It's all about the community coming in, meeting. So we've done some things in here to help our community around here in Nelson. There's a lot of other places that do this as well. So first thing we did was put up a beer for the mountain bikers.
Oh,
So the
right,
Mountain
yes.
Bike Club, which is the biggest, I think, sports club in New Zealand, member-wise here in Nelson, we've got a beer on for them. And basically, every time we sell that beer as a pint, $1 goes back to the Nelson Mountain Bikers.
Yeah.
And we sponsor in that way because we don't have loads of money just to throw at people. But if help, it's again, we're all helping each other, and we've become a gold member by doing that. FC Nelson, I coached for them. I've played with them. I've coached a third division team to a title. I'm still with them a little bit, and I'm watching from the sidelines and helping out when I can. They needed a club room. They got no space. So I said, look, I've got space in here. Let's put something up. Let's have a meeting place for the teams after their games. We'll throw some chips at you and make sure everybody has a great time and has a safe space to meet in after the games. And that works. And right now we've got a big honors board up. We've got the trophy cabinet in here, which is actually bigger and more filled than the Arsenal trophy cabinet. And definitely more filled than the Tottenham one. So,
That's right. Well,
so I mean, we've got.
Perhaps they can come down and get a few tips. You know,
I think they should. I think they should.
And sorry,
and then we've got these other community things going on with the dancing. Comedy night starting up this week. There's a lot of things. Dogs can come in here. We got a lot of things we try and help out, and now we're doing the bingos. You mentioned it before with the bingos. It's all about a fundraiser coming to me, saying to me, what do we have? And we give them the space and we say, this is what we can do for you. To keep us within the law of gambling, of course, we've got to do these certain things. But we can raise some money for your fundraiser and help you do that.
Awesome.
And we've been doing it for a lot of things. Mountain bikers are coming next week with theirs. The Wakayama girls have had theirs. Skateboarders last week was a brilliant one.
Awesome.
And it's all fun and games.
Yeah, you have fun and games. So for all the hard work, community-based stuff and setting up the business and stuff, what do you do in your spare time?
I actually so of course I've got kids, I've got twins, so that's most of my spare time, and that's an enjoyable part of it.
How old are they now?
6. And it does get easier, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.
There's different challenges along the way. And also on top of that, I still like to go out and watch the boys play football. I still think from the sidelines, I could have been there for that shot. I would have been in that position. Anyway, I'm sure I couldn't, but and I play walking football, which is an amazing sport. The people who are around walking football, I know, you know what? I laughed the first time I heard about walking.
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, but no, I laughed. I thought about really.
Tell me so I can have a good laugh.
So it's football still, but there's certain rules. It's walking. It's not running. You're not allowed to run. There's no tackling. It's not really a contact sport. It's all about the skill and stuff like that instead. And what it does, it keeps people like me who's had issues, has issues physically in the game. And mentally, these kind of things keep people going. They keep people older generation like myself keep us thinking we can still do it. And that is worth its weight in gold. It brought me back from a brink of not knowing if I could ever play football again after some issues, and it's kept me going, and I love it. And the people there are brilliant as well. So I mean, I used to laugh about it, but hey, it's a sport.
Good fun. It's a lot of fun.
Great fun.
Have you played it?
Yeah. I haven't been back. They don't
want you back.
No, that's right. Thank God he's not coming back. No, but it's a lot of fun and absolutely right. I mean, there's guys way up into their 70s, you know, who play it and keep active, and then there's a camaraderie as well.
Yeah.
There's the
Any
catch up
sport.
down at Two Thumbs afterwards,
Yeah.
or wherever they want to go. Yeah,
Sprig and Fern
or
as
Sprig
well.
and Fern
Yeah, they
as
meet
well.
with them
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Sprig and Fern's a big sponsor
Yes,
of
they
them
are
as well,
racing the team,
and they really do support that very
Yeah.
well.
so it's fantastic. Now, what one of the things that the town and the city is talking about, you probably heard, is revitalisation. That is the word. You've lived in other places around the world. Do you live fairly close by in the city?
Yeah, I'm not too far away.
And obviously you're working in the hub. So tell us about what you enjoy about Nelson City, but also, is there anything that you can see that you would like to see happen?
So the city itself it's not as vibrant as it has been. As far as I hear from the stories from years ago, and not too long ago either. It's a very diverse city. A lot of different types of people here in the city, which is an amazing attribute to have in the city. Should be working more with that as well, the different communities we've got here. It's a close city, it's a close-knit city. Business-wise, it's kind of dropping off. Why is that? Why are businesses dropping off and closing? What is happening to the town? Is it the rules? Is it the council themselves? And we can go council all day. They're ruining this city, but we are the council.
Yeah,
We are the council too.
Yes.
We've elected these people to be in charge of what we want, so we've got to communicate that to them, telling them what we need and what we want to carry on, because we're also the council, and they need to listen and help. And of course, there's issues, there's money, there's this, that, the other, there's people, there's volunteer fatigue. Lots of people volunteer so much that they get fatigue out of it. But we've got to keep on banging on with it. We've got to keep on getting people here. I think our biggest, we say there's 60,000 people coming to Nelson in the summer, but they don't. They come here and hop straight out. A lot of them hop straight out.
International parks and
yes, and
and
that's brilliant. We've got so much around us. It's not just Nelson, it's also Tasman. But we've also got so much here in Nelson they should stay a couple of days for. That's where I think we're lacking a little bit. We've got these lovely little side streets in here in town where there's lots of things going on. But in saying that, it's not all count. I've got to do it myself as well. I've got to get up and do it myself and make sure it's out there. But I've got to find the right channels. So streamlining is where we need to be. And we're starting to do that. There's something called Ride Nelson coming, with the one website for all the mountain bikers to go in and find everything they need to know from one place. And we should be doing more of that with, I think, NRDA is doing the same thing now, starting up with that kind of thing. And we need to start coaxing people to stay here in Nelson a little bit longer. Because in the summer, I remember it being in Rutherford, January, February was not our busy time. Why are we not full up? Why is the house not full? It just doesn't make sense.
And we should mark it a great place if you've got twins to live, shouldn't we? Bring your twins.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, I'm sorry about this, buddy. I really do apologize. I said, don't mention the twins.
It is a great place to bring up family, isn't it?
It is. It's a lovely place to bring up family.
Yeah.
But it's not, they always call it city. It's not a city. It's a moderate sized town.
Yeah.
And we should start thinking like that before we think we're a city.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is our biggest issue as well, is that we up in the council, it's all like cities. No, we're not. We're not. We're a great, vibrant town. And we should build upon those beautiful things a town can give rather than a city.
Because everyone wants to be a city.
Yeah.
And if you're not a city, you kind of set yourself up for fail.
But do we really want to be a city?
Well, I think
it sounds busy.
And I can't remember, but I think it was something to do, with funding or government. Because I remember it's because we've got a cathedral, and we applied to become a city. And I think it was something, if you have that status, it gives you other opportunities. But look, I can't answer that question. But you're right. I mean, really, at the end of the day, as you keep saying, we're a village.
Yeah,
and it's about.
But let's be that.
Let's be that and sell that.
Yeah, I always feel, because Nelson's not on the main trunk line. You've got to
No.
go out of your way to get to Nelson.
Mm.
I always feel like doing, if we did a marketing campaign, it's like, shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like do those mini me campaigns.
Yeah.
Are you going to the party? I said, I don't know. What party? I was invited. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing. You did it for Nelson.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
We should be thinking more of we don't want to be that busy city. We're not a busy city. Sell it as a town thing. You've got these boutique shops shooting up all over the place. Lots of art in this town. Amazing musicians that are everywhere. And the diversity of it all.
And great food.
Great food.
Great food.
Look at the breweries around
yeah,
here as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. We go send off New Zealand boutique style.
Yeah, we got loads to give. We've got loads to give. And we need the council, which is us as well, to back us up on these things. And it's not about using more money. It's not about using more. It's about using the money we're using already in the right way.
In the right way.
In the right way.
Collectively.
Yes, collectively.
Fantastic, Jeff. Hey, mate, this has been not only a fantastic venue and fantastic backdrop to have the podcast, but it's great to get an insight into yourself,
Oh,
you know,
thanks,
and Two Thumbs
You
and
guys
your
too.
background. Geez, you know, you bring a wealth of knowledge into this little place, don't you?
It's for me, this is a hobby. This is fun. I enjoy this. I enjoy coming up with the new ideas, what's going to happen next. So somebody walked in the other day and says, oh, we want to do a play. We want to do a play in here. And part of the play is actually being in a pub.
Yeah.
And they told me the storyline, which I can't say to you, of course. And I thought, why not?
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it. But we have to find a compromise as to what timing would be like.
Yeah.
It's like the comedy this weekend. We had to find a compromise as to what timing it would be. And if it's successful, we'll do it once a month. Why not? It's fun and games, and it's a hobby, and more diverse things we can get going on in here, the better. As long as it's a safe space to be, nobody gets hurt. We're doing things responsibly. We're selling alcohol as well, so we have to be responsible in that way. We've got laws that control that as well, and ourselves. Then why not? This is a fun baby to have.
Now, it's been that I love all that philosophy and the passion you have what you do, because we have within our organizations, whatever we do, we have fun on the way through. And our job's not particularly easy at sometimes, but we have fun on the way through. And we look at our pressure points, but we have fun.
Yeah.
And you meet people, and I've been doing this job for 30 years, same old thing, da 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 da. I mean, change, do something different.
Yeah.
But have fun on the way through.
Well, COVID,
because that comes through on that then's passed on to the people around you.
Yeah, that awful word COVID, that sorted it out for a lot of people. A lot of people rearranged their lives because of that. Hopefully, and mostly for the better, rearranging their philosophy, their way of life, their priorities. I did the same. And a lot of us, I'd say maybe 90% of us did the same, and kept a very positive attitude afterwards. After that, and you know, like I said before, it's all fun and games until you get twins.
That's right.
So, and even then, it's just more challenging fun and games.
That's right. Hey, that's great, Jeff. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well,
can I read one thing?
Yes.
Which I came across the other day. It was a Chekhov play. And I read this and I sent it to a few people. And I thought this, for me was, if I could just find it. Okay, here, this. I think this, all three of us would relate to this. And I'm going to use it tonight. I've got a Rotary meeting to go to, and I'm going to read this out. And it's, to me, it just, with life, and especially, say, with our age, could you imagine if it was possible to completely change the way you live your life? To look at your life and ask yourself, what would you do if it had ended? And then take what's left of your real life and live it properly. You know, change is good. Those sort of, you know, look at that, you think, what can I, as a person, because we all go through life, think, oh, doom and gloom, you change and evolve to be, if it was about to end, what would you then do properly? Yeah. And I've read that several times and sent it to many people. And that's my little pet thing for the last week.
At the end of the day, regret is an awful thing.
Yeah.
Regret is an awful thing. You've chosen to do what you did because of the reasons at that time. You should never regret anything, whatever you've done.
Slow.
good and bad.
Yeah.
Just try and change and be the better you all the time. And that's exactly that, basically the same thing.
All right, great, fantastic. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yes,
Really
thanks,
appreciate
guys.
your time. Been an absolute pleasure here at Two Thumbs.
Really
And
enjoyable.
we'll be using this venue a couple of times more. So
We'll be ready for you.
that'd be great.
Ready for you.
A heartfelt thanks to Jeff from Two Thumbs. And also, you don't forget you can find this podcast along with others at uniquelynelson.co.nz and on talknelson.co.nz and on Spotify. Just look for MBS Talk Nelson. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to join us next time for more from Talk of the Town. This is Chris Butler and Simon Duffy signing off. Until next time, Nelson, stay...
Two Thumb unique Two Thumb.
Well, how about
No,
unique Two Thumbs
What
up?
about uniquely two thumbs?
Unique Two Thumbs.
Stay unique, Nelson.